Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another consultant facilitation. And today we're going to be doing lesson 4, The Secret Genie. I gotta tell you, this is really a lesson that I enjoy because I do believe that this is where the program actually kicks into gear and gets accelerating. And so I want to ask you a very important question as we move into this lesson. And it's as simple as, who are you? Who do you think you are? I want you to bear that question in mind as we progress through this lesson. And as we progress, I'm sure you will realize why. So what we'll be covering in this lesson, first I'll introduce the lesson 4, The Secret Genie. Then we'll go back and review the lesson 3 worksheets. I'll pause and have you watch the video. And then when we resume, I will reiterate some of the key points that Bob would have taught you. We then do the lesson 4 worksheet, and then we'll wrap up and take any questions that you may have just to clarify anything that you would have learned in the lesson. I want to draw your attention to a very simple but profound quote, and it's actually by Buddha. And here he says, the mind is everything. What you think about, you become. That particular quote is absolutely applicable to this lesson, and I guarantee you'll find out why as we progress. So what will you learn in the Secret Genie lesson? You will learn how to gain control over your thoughts. You will learn how the law of attraction works and how it will help you to achieve any goal that you want. And you might wonder, is it really any goal? And the answer is absolutely yes, any goal. And by extension, you will learn a repeatable formula that can be used to change any result that you're unhappy with. So if there's an area in your life that you're not happy with, then this formula will help you to change that particular situation. Now, looking back at the lesson 3 worksheets, you would have rewrote in great details all the NPAs that you've identified in the first exercise in lesson 2. And then you would have also rewrote all of the NPAs that you've identified in the second exercise. After which, you would have written in great details a description of the results that you do want. And as such, follow that up with some PAs to generate that particular result that you actually want. And then you'd have carried out the symbolic action of burning or shredding those 2 sheets of paper with the unwanted results and also the unwanted NPAs. And remember, this is a symbolic action, so it is very important that it is carried out. At this point in time, we're going to be pausing so that you can watch the video and pay keen attention to every single second of the video. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I trust that you'd have enjoyed the video, because that video, in that video, Bob would have pointed out some key principles. And so we're going to be reviewing that actual process, the creation process, because that is the essence of the Secret Genie lesson. Now remember, I asked you, who are you? Now long ago, a gentleman would have came up with the idea that we exist on 3 planes of understanding. So we are spiritual beings. We also have intellect, and we have a physical body. For years, we've been trying to solve problems without going to the root cause of the problem. And that is essentially because we do not understand exactly who we are. See, we have to understand that we think in pictures. And remember, in order to solve the problem, we have to go to the root cause. But the root cause is the mind, and because we think in picture, and a lot of persons do not understand what the mind looked like. A great doctor several years ago came up with an image to represent the mind, and this is the image that he came up with. And this image is called the stick person. And for this purpose, we're going to let the large circle represent the mind and everything below that represent the body. And that's not exactly how it is, but just for the purpose of articulating the lesson, that is how we will represent it. Now, the mind is then further divided, of course, in the conscious and subconscious. And the conscious mind, of course, is where the thinking takes place. And this is where ideas are generated. This is where your goals are established. But the fact is, that's all that happens there. And we generate thousands of ideas. And everything that is happening on the outside flashes through the mind. But in order to get the ideas to the next level, we have to impress those ideas upon the emotional mind, the mind that generates the feelings, the subconscious mind. And when we impress these thoughts and ideas upon the subconscious mind with repetition, then those ideas get emotionalized. And when those ideas get emotionalized, they create feelings, which then triggers the physical aspect of our being, which is the body. The body actually serves as an instrument of the mind. And so the feelings changes the body's vibration. And when the body's vibration changes, that creates action. And that is the very actions that we carry out on a day-to-day basis. And when we carry out these actions, to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So our actions generate a reaction from the universe. And when that reaction occurs, the net effect is the result. And this is essentially how we manifest the results in our lives. So we think of the thoughts in our conscious mind. This is where the goals, the ideas come about. We impress those thoughts upon the emotional mind, and then the feelings are generated. Those feelings trigger vibrations in the body, and those vibrations causes us to act. And that action generates equal and opposite reaction from the universe by law, and then the net effect is our results. Because we do this over and over every day without taking control of it, that is how we end up creating results that we do not want. So the idea here is to take control of the thoughts that we're thinking, align those thoughts with the results that we desire, and ultimately we will constantly generate the results that we do desire. This is the secret genie. This is the core of this lesson. So I want you to pay very close attention to this, and you can listen to this over and over again until it registers fully in your mind. And so we'll move on to the lesson 4 worksheet, because in order to get the most of the lesson, you ought to take action. And you'll realize here that the outside world is a perfect reflection of what takes place on the inside. So what you ought to do here is to evaluate yourself to see what you've been doing to produce the results that you have been producing. And having done that, you ought to accept that it is time to change gears. Ask yourself, what are some of the strengths and weaknesses that you possess? How do you react to disappointing situations? Look at some of your beliefs and some of the habits that you ought to commit to changing. And I encourage you to make the most or the best of this worksheet, and you will get the maximum benefit. And ladies and gentlemen, that is about it for today. I will take any questions that you might have at the moment. If you don't have any questions at the moment, of course, feel free to give me a call or email me at a later date, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. And if you're watching this program and you're not a member of our Thinking into Results program, it's about time to get on board to see what magic you can create in your life. The contact information will be in the description below. So give us a call or an email